Hey everyone, I'm Justin with ExtremeTerrain.com. Taking a closer look at the J&L passenger side oil separator in satin silver, available for your 21 and newer 2.7 liter powered Bronco at home. Now, you should be checking out an oil separator for your rig if you're looking to help keep your engine and your intake a little bit cleaner by capturing the oily vapors produced during combustion from being rerouted back into your 2.7 and gumming things up over time. Now, if you didn't know, your Bronco has what is called a PCV system, or positive crankcase ventilation. Now, the purpose of this system is to help regulate and ultimately remove fumes from the engine crankcase and to help alleviate crankcase pressure, which, if not checked, would otherwise cause oil leaks and seal damage. Now, because laws do mandate that the PCV system be sealed, the engine has to use vacuum to draw these vapors out of the crankcase and then plumb them back into the intake tract somewhere, where they're ultimately to be burned off during combustion. Now, sure, this sounds great in theory, but a lot of times these oily vapors end up leaving an oily residue in things like your intake manifold and on the back side of the valves, which can lead to something called valve coking over time and in some extreme cases. And that's where the oil separator comes into play. Now, this guy's gonna use a combination of a stainless steel mesh material and aluminum honeycomb up top for the filter, which will allow vapors to pass through the actual J&L separator. And at that point, that filter is gonna help collect the oily moisture, junk, whatever, allow it to form in the filter, drop down in the canister, and at that point, still allow fresh, clean air to pass through the PCV system as it should normally operate. Now, as far as your construction is concerned here, guys, well, you are looking at a pretty simple design overall, including billet aluminum. That's gonna be your main material for the actual canister itself. It is knurled here on the bottom, which will help make removal of the canister and emptying that much easier. Nice rubber seal up here to prevent any leakage. And then everything is finished off in a clear anodized satin finish, giving you this silver color. Stands out under the hood a little bit more, but if you did want something maybe a little stealthier, J&L does also offer this in black as well. Now, the Bronco specific kit does include a necessary bracket to get everything mounted up, along with your factory style hoses already cut to length and factory style fittings, which is gonna make for a very simple install. And again, everything has been made right here in the USA. Now, at around the high $100 price point, the J&L separator, I would say, is gonna be a very small price and peace of mind to pay to help keep your 2.7 liter EcoBoost clean for many years and many miles to come. Now, compared to other options currently available on the site for your Bronco, the J&L, I would say, is gonna be right in line with stuff from Mishimoto and some of the more kind of generic options that we currently offer. But you have to keep in mind that most of those other options are what is called a universal fit, and therefore those will require additional modification to get everything in place. The J&L, on the other hand, specifically designed for your Bronco and engine specific as well. This again for the 2.7, so there is no guesswork. It literally is a plug and play job. Now, as far as your install is concerned, well, like I just mentioned, guys, very simple, very straightforward plug and play stuff. So therefore, the site's gonna correctly call this pretty soft 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe 10 minutes, a little bit more to get in place from start to finish. But now, to give you a better idea of just how things will go down on your Bronco at home, here's our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools used for this install: 1/4 inch drive ratchet, 10mm socket, and Phillips screwdriver. Hey guys, I'm gonna show you how to install our oil separator here on our 21 Bronco, so let's get started. So now we have our hood up, and what we're gonna do is remove our PCV tube right here. This is the only thing we're gonna remove, and to remove that, all you're gonna do is push in these little blue clips, just push them down like that. And then you're gonna do the same to this one here. Push it, you'll feel it push, and off it comes. So what I did was I got my oil separator on a table here. We're gonna have to do a little bit of assembly. And what we're gonna have to do is just put our bracket on just to get it ready before we put it on our vehicle. And to do that, we're gonna sit it in place and take the 2 Phillips screws that are supplied in the kit, and we're gonna tighten this up. So now I'm just going to install my bracket and get this ready. And what you're gonna wanna do is set the bracket in place so that the letters line up with these letters and they match. You're just gonna sit it in place like that. We're gonna take our 2 Phillips screws, start them. Just like that. I'm gonna take my Phillips screwdriver, and tighten these up. And now we're ready to install this onto our vehicle. So now we have our PCV hose removed. We're going to use this boss back here with these threads to mount our oil separator, and then we'll move it in a little bit towards the back and then hook our hoses up to here, tighten up our 10 millimeter, and we're done. So then we're going to take our oil separator and take our bracket and put our bolt and get it started here. I'm just going to run it down until I get it snug, because we're going to let it loose for now till we move and hook our lines up. So now it's snug, but we can move it. Now we'll hook our lines up to our connectors. So now we're going to hook up our lines. Now you're going to take the first one that comes out of the oil separator there. You're going to be able to just push that in place like that. And then the back one is going to go to this one here. And you're able to spin these around. So if you have to make them fit right, and you push it in. Now we'll tighten up our 10 millimeter. I'm going to take my 10 millimeter socket on my 1/4 inch drive ratchet, tighten our 10 millimeter bolt here. And that'll wrap up this install. That wraps up this review and install of our J&L 3.0 oil separator, clear satin anodized finish, passenger side for 2.7 liter EcoBoost Broncos. Thanks for watching, and for all things Bronco, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.